Welcome to the 142nd episode of Sawdust Nation podcast with your host, Nick from MPG Creation, Nat from Nap Study Works LLC.
Did you forget?
Josh from North Country Woodworking. Now, sometimes you guys say, hey, hello, or do something weird in between, so
Sorry,
let's give me time.
I know you're reading. Patron, and it keeps telling me, like lasers or sawdust, or lasers and sawdust, do they mix or do they not? Find out from this episode. I was like, wait, what the hell is
Well,
this?
thanks, Nap. You just kind of like took my thunder during my intro.
I didn't
anyway,
even discuss that.
We did. You just got to read your messages, my friend. Oh, snap.
No, I did see some messages. I thought we were talking about sandpaper and sawdust and how bad it's for you.
Well, what does sandpaper do, my friend? That's right. They make sawdust. And that's Sawdust Nation podcast going into our new episode talking about some sandpaper, what makes that sawdust, and a little bit of laser talk going in there too, because we have a listener and a fellow maker that had a little bit of problem with a laser company that we all know. And I'm not going to go ahead and say love, but we know. So let's go ahead and jump into our shop talk, starting off with, start off with Nap and that mustache of his.
Hold on. I just got sandwiches.
I know. That's
Which
exactly
laser company are you talking about? Oh, okay. You're talking about that one. Never mind.
Yep.
Wait,
I remember now.
Oh,
I remember now.
Okay, well.
Nap,
so
were you sleeping? Were you taking a nap today?
No. Well, actually, I feel like absolute dog.
Well, I mean, you look like it too,
right
but whatever, bro.
Oh, thank you. Especially with this thing on my lip. It's not great.
Was that herpes?
What is happening? Watch on YouTube. I'm trying to watch it on YouTube. Yay! There it is. We're here now. Finally, I was trying to get the old YouTubes up so we could I could watch the chat here. But anyways, so we're what, week 1 post Workbench Con. I still haven't got. Listen. So the one thing we learned, right, the whole content thing. I have so much I can do now. Like between like the bag, I haven't even dissected the bag yet. That's still got to happen. Stickers for galore. I still haven't gone through those. I'm trying to get through projects. I've got reels going up of projects I'm doing right now. I finished a bunch of promo stuff. I kind of pulled a Nick here. So Nick has this really good way of advertising his stuff. Like when he's talking about certain things and in conversation, he can casually bring it up. And then boom, he's got a sale like within like 40 minutes after he leaves the person he talked to. So I did that with some promotion stuffs this time around. I showed them. Now, mind you, I'm not one to dog makers, but I will dog big companies or companies that make crap work and charge a premium for it, especially when I know I can do better. And of course, that's just business for you. So I showed them a picture of what it was that there's people that made rank are going to get. Said, this is what your people are getting. This is what your people could get for roughly the same price that you're charging or that you're buying them for, or, a little more because they asked for epoxy, asked for walnut, they asked for all the premium stuff. So I charge accordingly, especially here in North Dakota. Walnut is a premium. I mean, you got to sell a limb of some sort just to get some. But
was it your finger?
But yeah, so that finger's still there. See, it's still messed up. That is actually getting looked at. So get that. I'll talk about that in a minute, actually. Let me finish the shop. So I did a lot this weekend. I did 5 projects this weekend. I did 3 promos, a going away plaque. I mean, they're all plaques, so they're easy. I continued to work the spinner. I have this really special project coming up. So yeah, I know, Nick, you and spinners, you love spinners. I know you do. But in the maintainer career field, well, it's more specifically weapons, we typically get assigned our own toolbox. It's our baby. We take care of that box. We do the maintenance on that box. We slap it with decals, all these things. Well, there is a senior who's leaving here, and he's on the way to another base. I won't say where, just to keep that part at least anonymous, right? He's leaving, and he spent quite a bit of time here at Minot. He is now a senior, which is an E8. He started, or at least owned this box as an E5. So he was a staff sergeant when he owned this box. Well, that box was getting ready to go to the old scrapyard, or Dermo, as we know. And we said, how can we send this guy off right? He's done a lot of good things here at Minot. He's, been for the people, this, that, and the other. And one of the people that worked for him reached out to me and said, hey, can you help me with this? Now, mind you, I am helping him with it. So I was able to do the woodworking side. He's helping do the metal side. But we're taking the side of this toolbox. He cut the entire panel off the side of the toolbox that has the weapons load tote on it. That's been through years of weathering. So you can still tell what it is, but it's a little faded. It looks like it's been used. And then it has the original mill bag or toolbox. Thank you, Nick, for that awesome sound effect there. But if you know, if you've been in maintenance or you've been anything Air Force, there's these bags that have what's called the 244. It's a document that goes in there to note inspections and this, that, and the other discrepancies. Well, the original's there. Like the bag is almost falling apart, but it's it's good enough shape that I was able to attach it to the outside of that panel. So we're literally going like nostalgia, like 100%. Like he's going to be probably super surprised this thing even exists still. I'm going to add a couple of things. I ended up taking a 1/2-inch piece of plywood, a 3/4-inch piece of plywood. We cut it down to size. We ended up using the rivet holes that held that box plate or the box siding on. We actually put metal screws into all of them. So each one of them has a screw. So that thing is never coming off. And then I framed it in walnut. So there's that. And it'll have 2 of those really long French cleats from Home Depot, the metal ones. Because those hold a good deal of weight, so that's probably a good idea to use.
Like
and
hundreds of
it'll
pounds.
sit flush. Yeah, it'll sit flush with the wall when he hangs it. I'm adding a couple extra things to it. So when he was the staff, he had a crew number. I'm going to put that crew name and number up in the top right under what's called the EID, which is the equipment identifier.
Oh, never mind. That's the EAD. I'm sorry.
It's what marks like what tool or what the box is, what its like identification is for when they log it into the tool crib and whatnot. And then on the top left, I'm going to put the squadron patch. Bottom left, I'm going to do the rocket. So it's the rocket with the star with the wreath. Yeah. It's also known something else. The pocket rocket for the patrons. We call it the pocket rocket because it used to sit on our pocket. But it's the missile badge. That's what's going to go down on the bottom left. And the bottom right, to add the 2W1 spin to it, there's going to be a Reaper. So the Toad is 462. That's what the AFSC used to be called, and then it later turned into the Reaper, which is 2W1. So we're going to add a little bit of new school to the old school, and you'll have something really, really cool to hang in the man cave. Because not a lot of people can say that they have their original toolbox from when they were a loader. So it is pretty. It's cool to me.
The only thing close I can claim to that is I had the original key to my first toolbox when I was in Okinawa. Before I left, they gave it to me.
The key?
And it still has the key. There was a spare, obviously, but
so that's going to go to him Friday. The other guy couldn't make it today, so I ended up working on another project, which is that spinner I was talking about. It's got 2 patches. It's got some ball bearings that are set inside the wood. So once I'm done finishing and lasering and doing the couple things I need to do to it, I actually took. So it was weird. I cut a square piece of stock on my saw stop. Now, I wasn't going to break the lathe out for this because I just really didn't feel like experimenting tonight. So I cut it small enough because it was a 1/2-inch inner diameter. And I actually used the round over bit first. And then I shoved it inside the drill chuck, tightened it down, and used a piece of sandpaper and just went to town.
I'm sure you did.
I mean, it only took like 2 minutes to do it. It was good.
Yeah.
It honestly worked better than I thought it was going to be honest with you. So I did that. That piece, the piece that is actually spinning, is sitting right now drying. I did the base. I got some of the base done. I'm waiting for some of the other stuff to dry on that base, just because it had glue and stuff like that. So I'm gonna let it finish drying, and I'm gonna do some lasering and whatnot on it probably tonight, and then I'll finish it off. So I actually ended up using a finish on this. Started using a finish, and it was from one of the makers that was at Workbench Con. It's Amy from Coral Way Designs. So she ended up making her own wax and oil finish, comparable to some companies out there that we've known and used and maybe not used anymore. So I went ahead and tried it out, and I can tell you what, it's good stuff. It really does work well. It smells really good, and it's already drying. Like, it's already pretty much dry to the touch after using my Orca buffing pad with a sander. So I did all that. That's sitting out there right now. The toolbox thing is sitting out there. What else do I got? Where's my list? All right, so there's that. I have one of those tiki going aways. If you guys remember, I did that acrylic a while back with the pennant and the tiki head. I'm doing another one of those. That's due 1 April, so I'll probably have to work on it this weekend. I've already glued the panel. I literally just have to CNC, do a bunch of lasering, and all this happy nonsense, and that'll be done. Picked up a couple other jobs. Ben Warren, he sent me an interesting job. Now, I've never done stemmed wine glasses before, specifically wooden stemmed wine glasses. Interesting, right? Yes. And then a keepsake box for a wedding. This is a new one. Again, another new one because I've done decanter sets and whatnot, but I haven't done a stemless wine glass or stemmed wine glass box. It'll probably be roughly the same, but I'm gonna try a couple new things on that, I think, and put it together. And yeah, that's really all I got going on, like in the shop per se. I've still got to get the repeater for these bullets. I haven't got the repeater yet because I'm trying to knock out stuff off the list before I just start tackling R&D type projects. I'm not going to sit here work on those when I have jobs that I already paid for. Like that just doesn't make sense. And then, what really grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears, Nap?
When people say, hey, quote me out for this many plaques. And you do that, right? And you know the thing you're going to make is better. And you tell the $50 a plaque. They're like that. Pretty good, some nice laser engraving, nice edge, finish, all the stuff on it. $50. That honestly to me is decent. $50 for a piece of chair.
That's a wholesale price for something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They said that it's not a no, but we might get pushback on it from the agency purchasing. I was like,
no offense.
What do you want?
If you want a plaque, then I'll tell you what. Here, let me give you the number to my competitors.
Yeah. So there's that. But get this, right? So they're getting stuff that's $35 a piece, and it's not very great. It's maybe 8 inches long, not to be weird, Nick. I know you're already thinking it. And maybe 2 to 3 inches tall. It's a flat, small plaque, and they're getting charged $35 a piece. I'm making something bigger for $15 that's nicer. And they're telling me I'm going to get pushback. So I have to design something that is within their price range as well as the mid-range. And then I'm going to give them a high range too while I'm at it because they're going to present all three to the people paying for it, and we'll see what happens. But I can tell you that I really hate it when people say, can you make something cheaper? It's like, sure, let me go get some OBS for you and or OSB for you, and then, just carve it out and laser some stuff on it and call it a day. It just irritates it just irritates the hell out of me. It's like, don't ask me to quote you for something if you're going to say, oh, that seems like a little much.
You know what?
What?
You know what really pisses me off about, especially if they're like real frugal with the government's money and they're like, can we have 3 different samples of what this would look like so we can, that's like, yeah, at that point it's like, yeah.
And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with this. It's literally, can you send us different versions?
Yeah, but like I'll invoice you for the samples. You guys pay for them, and I'll do them up.
Yeah. So it's just.
But I'm only doing them I'm not doing them wholesale either. I'm doing them for retail because you guys are probably going to change your mind and not do anything through me. So let's just.
And that's my problem. I'm not making nothing for them until they pay me.
Are these projects like squadron or unit?
They're quarterlies, so they're like.
Oh, okay.
Literally here, I'll show you.
You can't resell these if they say no. Yeah, you can't resell that.
So no, like I'm not gonna do a metal plate because that's more money, So the cheapest I'm going is $50 with just engraving the stuff on there. But it's actually literally that. It's a load crew of the quarter trophy.
How long does it take to do
quarterly?
How long does it take to do one?
It's probably
on the machine.
Probably gonna take me on the machine, probably 30 minutes. And then with me, it's going to take me at least an hour per plaque.
With moderate settings, Nick, not your insane race car.
But yeah, so that's what I was tasked to make. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. That one really kind of irritated me this week. I finally got all the stuff for the Hap Arnold box, so I'm starting that at the end of this month. That is due in June. So what ended up happening with that one was, I know I've been talking about it for a while now, but she overplanned. She planned so far ahead. I knew this thing was coming before, I knew I was making it, but I thought it was like, hey, I need this in a couple weeks. No, I need this in a few months. I was like, well, hell, okay. And she's like, I'm sorry I haven't got the stuff to you. I'm like, no, you have plenty of time. I can make this in a week. But yeah, so no, I'm not using another man's towel, Jason. Cut it out. Okay, that was last episode. It was 2 weeks ago. Leave it alone.
Just go like this.
And Josh is like, yeah. I did a bunch of stuff, man. I'm actually I was quite surprised how busy I was when I got home. And I can tell you, coming back from Workbench Con, I was actually remotivated to work in the shop again and actually do stuff, not bullshit, be lazy, and any of those things. Is it Amy? Yeah, Amy from what you call it, Coral Way Design. So Amy, and then it has like a dash or slash looking thing, epoxy resonant art woodworking. She makes a bunch of handmade ocean charcuterie boards and whatnot. Real cool person. I mean, she was cool enough to give us some free samples of her stuff, and it was really cool to just meet her in general. Yeah, down to earth people. But other than that, that's what's going on in the shop. As far as the finger is concerned, I know my finger appointment is in April now. So, I called these people. I was like, hey, the guy I'm supposed to see is a lower extremity surgeon. Like, oh, well, he specializes in a little bit of everything. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I called them kind of concerned. They call me yesterday and go, yeah, we need to reschedule you for someone that specializes in hands. I was like, oh, it's weird. It's like I called you about this last week. It's like I told you how to do your job last week and you told me to go kick rocks. So I have now this in April because they mismanaged their scheduling and that sucks. But anyways, that's what's going on in the shop. That's what's kind of going on with my finger and all the fun things. Nick, what's going on in your shop, dude?
A lot of stuff. I gotta say, I just got an order from Uline today. I literally placed it last night, and it arrived today. I'm like, yes, I love Uline, dude. They ship overnight everything. So I got some new boxes for some of my merch, my products. Things that'll fit a little better than what I've been doing. A little more professional when you don't have a box that's all hacked up to fit your project show up, right? I got some, bubble wrap. I also got the tape with like the reinforced tape that Amazon uses. I got that, and I got the machine to push it out. It's the crank machine. It's not the button you push one. So there's like a $600 difference in the two. I wasn't going to spend that extra money just to get some tape out of a machine. I'll pull the crank down and pull it out. Anyway, I've been busting my rear end to get products out left and right. People have been calling me, telling me like, hey, you remember that project I said was going to be delivered on this date? I need it early. And I'm like, uh-oh, I smell a fee. So, yeah, that's right. Got a couple plaques I'm working on right now. They'll be done tomorrow morning. And got some deliveries to do tonight for somebody who had that happen. They're like, oh, man, we need that stuff like ASAP. Okay, cool. And then I'm working on this large 30-inch wide shadow box that is in the shape of the Buccaneers flag. Have you seen it before?
It's the Buccaneers.
So it's not for me. It's for a customer. And I have I built it in Lightburn because I'm cutting everything out via laser. And I'm going to paint everything. And then I'm going to assemble it like I would any one of my normal projects. But it's just going to have some depth to it so you can put items in it. And it's going to have felt in the background, the red felt and stuff like that. So people can go ahead and mount their items inside. But more to come on that. That's going to be, I got to have that done in probably about 5-6 days. Then after that, I'm doing my best bud Jesse's shadow box because I'm going to Dover, Delaware to his retirement ceremony, but I got to ship it up there first. That's going to be late. That's going to be later on after.
Just hand carry it.
Not on the plane, dude. No, I'm not doing that. The thing's like going to be like 3 feet tall. He said he wanted a small shadow box. So, and I'm lacing it with dicks. I'm putting everywhere on this thing just because
you should configure a border that looks really elegant, but it'd be all complete entire thing.
I'm actually going to laser etch a dick into the glass so it looks so you can't get rid of it. You can't cover it up or it's just going to be there. And no, I mean, like, it's this thing. It's gross military humor. We apologize. I apologize. I actually don't. I don't apologize for anything. I have been in contact with a few different makers from Workbench Convention, and that place really does pay dividends when it comes to networking. So I know we talked about it last week, but it's exciting stuff. Other than that, I have a couple signs to work on. I still have stuff lined up for next month after I get back from Dover. But other than that, same old, back to the grindstone. And with that being said, Josh, what do you got going on in your shop? All right, Josh, thanks. Nap, let's go into our first topic. I'm totally playing. Go ahead.
I'm out. No, actually, I had a lot going on this weekend. Much like Nap, I got... I had a friend of mine that works in the same office. He's I talked to him about him before on the podcast. Matt from Millard's Custom Woodworks. Kind of newer to the woodworking game when it comes to like Instagram and stuff like that, and like some of the bigger projects. So he brought me into the project that it's for the Senior Master promotion. They showed us what they had last year, and it was a wafer. When I say wafer, it was less than a quarter inch thick material on pine. It looked like it was lasered and then spray painted the black in, but you could see black little bits everywhere. And when they handed it to me, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like, they paid money for these. And that's not to knock anyone that did these prior. It really isn't. It's just, I'm surprised that they spent as much money as they did on a project for a senior listed member. And it took me back. Like it did. And Nap.
I'm sorry. No, there is no such thing as no offense. Terrible. You don't give people that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. The agency that paid for that is wrong.
I do want to point out, when I sent you that picture, you said nice man. Like I did
because I thought you did it and I didn't know what it was. Because I was like, oh, it looks pretty clean. And then you're like, oh, it's this. So I took further inspection and I was like, oh, I see.
I'm like, this.
It was a quick glance, okay? It was at work.
Fair enough. Anyway, so the senior hands me this, and I'm like, I can't do this for you. And she's like, what do you mean? You don't have the capability? I'm like, no, I can't make this kind of quality. I can only make better if I'm going to make it, and it's going to be from my shop. And she's like, well, how much is that going to cost me? I'm like, look, I will try to get close to your price point. It might be a few dollars more, but I will go all out on this project to show you capability if you go with me next year. So they're probably not going to go with me next year, but they sure hell got one hell of a product from the shop. Me and Matt whipped up like 20. I actually had to make one more, so 25 of these little plaques, cherry with gold acrylic. And, I showed him the process. Obviously, he's not new to woodworking, so sanding and stuff like that, he, could help out. And I trained him up on the laser and the CNC, stuff that he currently doesn't have but is interested in having. And just kind of showing the capabilities once you have this, these pieces of equipment, what you could be doing as they're working, what they could do. And, so, I mean, like, it was a great weekend. Got to show another maker kind of like, intro to laser and CNCing. And then we got to whip out this project pretty quick. Two hands make light work. So we got those all done. I do have to make a new one because today they said they missed someone. So I will have to pump one of those out and get that to them here shortly. So that was a great project. Anytime you could teach and, kind of get through a project and they come out great and like it's shiny enough where you can see a reflection. It was just a good project altogether. So another thing that I tried this weekend that I haven't before is I tried some 3D carving. So when the CNC basically was static and nothing was going on, I went ahead and just tried Easel's new 3D portion of their program. I didn't do any reading. I just kind of took a STL and I threw it in there and I kind of messed around with it. Because, I like to see what I can figure out on my own and then do some reading. And then it's kind of like my learning curve. It's not going to affect anything. It was on some pine. It took like an hour and a half to do each carving. I did 2 in total. The first time, I didn't make the carve deep enough to get the detail I wanted. And then the second time I didn't put the actually STL deep enough in the wood, so it didn't carve the very top of it. Lessons learned. I've since gone back and looked at Easel's program and how-tos and kind of learned how to do it correctly. Just wanted to see what I could do. But I tell you what, I got hell for my bit placement. The first pass when I was removing material, I had the bit a little bit lower and it wasn't right up to the actual cutting surface. And I had a couple CNC guys reach out and correct me on that. And it was intentional because I was using that 1/8 inch bit to cut out those chevrons, and I needed a little extra cutting space. So not the correct answer, but I was trying to save on material, and I had extra bit just in case I would broke. So it's one of those things, I was just having fun with it. I learned a lot by it and got to kind of see the capability of, the machine and the program. There's definitely a lot more to learn, and I appreciate everyone that did reach out and offer tips. But I'm going to dive into it here and there. I'm going to do a different design and kind of just roll with it, see what I can do with it. There's a couple different things I could definitely see now utilizing in the shop. I was actually surprised on the length of the carve. It didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. But again, it was a smaller carve. There wasn't all that much detail. And that was kind of what I was going for, just something that I could see the capability.
So, Josh,
What's up?
you did a smaller full carve, right? I saw you did a Pokemon, which was cool.
Yep.
And obviously, you were like, it's funny. I commented on Josh's post, and he's like, "Did I do something wrong?" In a message, right? And I was like, "No, man. I was like being legitimate.
I was paranoid.
I've never seen a machine carve a 3D like that. Typically, it's a raster, left to right, or right to left.
Well, you're
whatever.
dealing with easel, so it's gonna be all figured up.
Does whatever does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's when he told me, "Oh, it's an easel thing." I was like, "Okay, that makes sense."
So easel will do your finishing pass first, then your roughing pass.
You could actually do that. Yep.
I know.
100%.
That's weird. That's so weird. But then we talked about how we use Carveco at Workbench Con on Daniel's CNC, which is pretty cool. And then I use Vectric, which is it's like left to right. It gives you different options and those things. I'm actually really excited to see where you get with that, Josh, because it's honestly an untapped market. The only people that do a really good job at it that I know of, now even after Workbench Con, are Ben, who's in our chat right now.
Yep.
And then also Titty Nick. Speaking of Titty Nick, he's sending me a handle. I didn't mention this in my shop. Nap has a limited release of merch. It's really for me, and then one for Nick, for him, so I can get my handle. But if it's well received, I'm actually going to start selling shirts.
Yes, man.
Shirts and hoodies. I'm going to do like a fundraiser type thing through that Custom Ink website or whatever. But anyways,
cool.
But yeah, so what I was going with this with the smaller carves is this. When I did that OSI shadow box a while back, Ben over at Beach Town Woodworks, for those of you that don't know Ben, not you guys, but other people listening, he gave me a really good idea. You take your cuttable surface or cuttable plane, so like the workspace that you're cutting, and you drag your 3D carve into that area. So you only do a small piece of that carve to see what it looks like when you actually carve it. So if you look back earlier in my reels, you'll see where I did a very small section of the OSI box. That was because I wanted to make sure the detail was there and that it looked good. And that was a really easy way for me to tell, like, okay, do I like this detail? Are the settings good? And in fact, they were. I mean, as you know, because I made the box. But those smaller carves are actually very beneficial when it comes to testing and making sure things are nicely set up.
Yeah, I totally get. That's why I was going for like a smaller carve like that. It's just because it's not very often that you can go, at least for myself, go in the shop and just test things out with not having to get something pumped out for a client. So to be in the shop anyway, and then having that set up so it can do its thing and kind of watch the progress on it, it was really nice. I definitely want to dip into it a little bit more. I want to learn the easel side of it, and then I'm probably going to cross over to Carveco just because of the capabilities. But I want to learn the easel. That way I can help other people that might have questions on it, and then I'll have some experience to talk to. So it'll also give me some more experience in the 3D realm. Yeah, that's the 3D 3D carving. Not much to it. I was just having some fun. Not something we always get to do in the shop, so it was nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm currently doing a last minute project. It's a guide-on that's due on Thursday. Basically, I gave them a price. They gave me a size and what they want it to look like. And I said, hey, do I got artistic freedom with this? And they're like, absolutely. I'm like, okay, well, screw it. I'm going to dip a little bit more of my money into it, and I'm going to try to do some acrylic work. So I'm currently doing that. They have no idea what I'm about to give them. And that's kind of like the point. I want to, give something that's going to blow them away. So far it's going so good. I'm kind of waiting on a colored acrylic. I tried to paint some acrylic I had.
So colored acrylic's always going to be better than the painted, but where did you source your colored acrylic?
Maker stock.
All right, I'm not trying to trap you. I was just wondering because
no, I was going to get there.
Okay.
So basically, I tried to paint the stuff I already had, but the weather down here has been really cold, frigid, and it was kind of like pooling, causing like I don't know. It wasn't. The acrylic wasn't drying correctly, and the color was off. So I went to one of our favorite places to get acrylic, Maker stock, ordered, and it should be here, I think, tomorrow. So fairly quick. I'm going to go ahead and cut that last color out because I already had everything else I needed, and then piece it all together, see how it looks. This gives me enough time to basically, if I don't like how this looks, I can go ahead and revert back to something else that I can whip up real quick. But yeah, it's going to be a fun project. It's turning out to be, like a puzzle because there's a lot of small pieces, but we'll see how that pans out in the end. Hopefully it's worth the while. So, the file I'm working with could have been a little bit better, but we're making it work. I will be working on the big retirement trunk here at the end of the month. The client is going to meet me, and I'll be getting the stuff required so I can go ahead and finish that and get that out of the shop. So in April, this should be done and complete. That's going to be huge, getting that out of the shop. Because right now, it's one of those things where, like, every time I have to move it, I'm holding my breath. Because, like, I have everything cut and ready to put together, which means the miters are cut, and I don't want to damage those edges. So it's been going back and forth with that. 3D printing, doing more of that. I switched out a different type of filament. I'm trying to learn the settings for that and get that situated so I can go ahead and knock out a couple 3D prints and get those shipped. And then, talking to some clients, have some invoices out, just need to pay. Quick projects, nothing too fancy. And, just staying busy like that. I do have possibly a big project coming up. I have to get more information from the client. They're currently TDY, so I can't really, bug them about what they want done. So once I get back, we can work on some details, and maybe I can announce that here shortly. But for the shop talk, that's about it for myself. It seems like a lot going on because I was in there all weekend and this week, but it's been a lot of fun. I'm just getting to do new stuff and teach and just be in the shop and having a good time. So no complaints here. So Blue City Customs reached out to me not too long ago. He was having some Glowforge issues. I'm not going to take his thunder by telling you exactly what it is because I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the audio. But we had a good conversation going back and forth about possibilities and how to get that corrected. And let's hear a little bit from his own words.
Hey, Josh, just want to start out by saying thank you for providing me with your feedback and your experiences with my Glowforge issue, which I'll share details shortly. And also thanks to the Sawdust podcast team. And also thanks to Tim from Gears and Fire for connecting me with you. So to summarize, I've had issues with Glowforge for about a year, basically. So I bought the Pro, which was about $7,000 with accessories and such. So a couple months later, the machine stopped cutting all the way through. So it would cut, but it won't cut all the way through the material, even when we used their products, what they call a proof grade. So when we use a proof grade, it basically supposed to have all of the correct settings, making sure that it cuts appropriately. So that didn't work. So they sent me a replacement. So the same thing happened to that replacement. It wasn't cutting through. I've tried their proof grade. I've tried different materials, thickness, species, still wasn't cutting through. Anyways, they were sending me a third one. So now we're at the third machine. Third machine came leaking laser tube fluid, or the laser tube fluid was leaking. So I don't know what it is, but it was leaking. So once I reached out to customer service, and we can only communicate via email, which is sort of, it's great for keeping records, but it's just not, you can't really communicate your frustrations or details via email. But anyways, so the rep said, "Oh, it's okay. Leaks happen. Just wipe it off and start using it. And if something happens, let us know." I was a bit appalled because there was no way I was going to turn on a machine that was leaking, especially a cooling, tube. There's no way I was going to start using it. But anyways, at this point, after losing time, materials causing delays with so much stress and frustrations, I simply asked for a refund. I said, "Hey, it's not. It hasn't been a year yet. It's been 10 months, 11 months, still under warranty. Frustrated with having three machines, and yet all three of them are not working properly. And mind you, I don't use them excessively. I only use them here and there, literally. And I do very small cuts, nothing detailed. So it wasn't a wear and tear kind of issue. It was just they're not built great, I guess, or built to quality." So anyways, when I asked for the refund, kept going back and forth with them denying me a refund, saying that, "Well, we don't give refunds. We can definitely exchange it for you." So after, again, three machines, I don't want to go with the fourth one. At this point, it's ridiculous. And if I did go with the fourth one, and it would have been after the warranty at that point, and who knows, I would have been stuck with the fourth machine that possibly would have been, broken. So anyways, after a while, they agreed to give me a refund. However, they ended up giving my refund minus 30% what they considered a refurbished fee, which is they give out refurbished machines anyway. So all of the replacements are refurbished. They're not brand new. They're all refurbished, which makes you think my broken machine gets fixed somehow and goes back to another person, which hence the, I guess, issues they've been having. So they also charged me for shipping, which is almost $300. So here you go, minus 30%, minus $300. And check this out. If you don't have a box, which I initially throw away after a few months, I figured, hey, it's been 6 months, 8 months. I don't need the shipping box. So they charged me $300 for a box. Sorry. So $300 for a new box just to ship the machine. I could not use any other boxes because they were afraid, other boxes and foam was not adequate. Anyways, whatever. It wasn't worth the hassle. So I paid the $300 for the box. So after all of this, I lost $3,000 within 10, 11 months. I lost $3,000 with barely any profit because, again, I've been having issues with it the entire time. So I got my refund, thankfully, at this point, but it's just the whole stress that I've had with Glowforge is just not worth it at all. I personally should have done more research and gone with something else that's bigger, more industrial. Glowforge, the good thing about Glowforge is their software, which was pretty decent. It's not like Easel or Xcarve or those other things, or VCarve, sorry, but it was decent and it was clean. It was something you can put on your counter, on your desk. It doesn't need many cables, many lasers, many tubes. So that was the only good thing about them. But when you look at the cost of it compared to the cost of other pro lasers, it's some pro lasers are half the price, to be honest with you. And anyways, lesson learned. I got it returned, got it refunded out of my house. So that is all. Just want to share with you again. Thank you all so much for taking the time and helping me with my issues and giving me some ideas and suggestions, and also taking my statement, I guess you can call it that way. But and also, speaking to the Glowforge community, there's a lot of people with similar problems. There's people with almost 7 machines before they even got to a refund. So for me, 3 machines and refund, I guess, I shouldn't complain, but still. But anyways, thanks again to everyone. And hope, people don't experience this, but I do appreciate you sharing my story so that other people can learn from it and at least, do a little more in-depth research and getting something better that they're happy with in the long run. Thanks so much.
That was rough. Okay, so in my mind, when listening to that, I was infuriated for him. But then also knowing that you had one, Josh, at one point, and you luckily did not experience some of those things, I was like, man, if you would have kept going down that road, when would you have been a victim of the trading? You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
He got the rough end of the deal there. I remember when he first reached out and he was telling me about his story, I'm like, wow, man. I immediately said, you need to go for a refund. He goes, they're not going to offer one. And it took him a while to even get there. And like you said, he had to pay $300 for shipping.
For a box. For a box. Not even.
Yes.
He got boned. Sorry. He got boned. Glowforge.
So.
Good Lord.
Go ahead. Yeah, his initial price, he said, he spent around $7,000 for the Pro version, probably for the fume extractor and other accessories. Now, let's just take that price point. The laser that I currently have in my garage, which is the 100-watt 24 by 40 laser, and all the accessories I needed with that came to around $8,000. He would have got or could have bought a smaller laser that would fit inside where he put it, had the same kind of accessories, and would have spent less and been able to produce in much more. I'm frustrated for him because, I'm I was literally being like, hey, man, stop with the Glowforge thing. Put that aside. Here's a laser for you. You know what I'm saying? If you use the money you get back to purchase this one, it's going to be able to do so much more for you, less hassle, and it's maker friendly, meaning you can modify it the way you want. You can go to Lightburn and do whatever the hell you want with it. You do not need internet to make this thing work. And if they decide to take away their program, nothing's going to happen to your laser. Because Glowforge, if they ever decided to say, hey, we're done, you can't use it. It's a brick. You would have to replace a motherboard and all this other nonsense. So that poor guy.
I feel bad for that dude.
Yeah.
He spent $7,000. He could have got, he was $400 away from buying my 130-watt OMTech. So I'm just saying, more bang for your buck. What?
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't need initially. I don't think he would need a laser our size, like the size I got, or even.
Look at Ben Warren's laser. He got the 80-watt, and that thing's it could be a desktop laser if you take the legs off it.
Yeah, they have smaller lasers for less price, and it would have definitely done a lot better than the
Glowforge. Straight up jacking, dude. They're straight up jacking.
Yep. And you know what? Their PR team removes all bad comments and stuff, or any modifications or anything. Yeah, you can't find much negativity about it.
I go and post OMTech ads on their in their threads.
Well, and the funny thing is, so I'll watch the whole ad, right? And I'll be like, oh, for a nominal fee of blah, you can get this. And I'm like, yeah, well, for a better thing, you can get this. And I'll send a link to the actual laser that they can purchase that's exponentially better. And we'll actually get them real business and keep them running and not spend.
Dude, it's their whole marketing gimmick is you can keep it on your inside the house. But they don't it's so misleading because they're oh, you can put it in your house but they don't tell you got to vent it, until you get into it and you're oh yeah, well I need to vent it or I need to get this scrubber for the fumes. It's yeah, you can do that with bigger lasers too and still pay less than what you pay for a Glowforge. And I don't care if you buy I don't care if you buy OMTech. I mean, I do care because we want you to buy OMTech, but I don't care if you buy OMTech, some cheap Chinese crap you find on
Thunder Chicken.
No, what's that one website? The Alibaba or whatever, right? That's what Nap got his. I'm just saying.
And
Are you
mine
serious?
works like a
Yeah.
champ.
And Naps
That's
is
where you got your-
Okay, kind of. It got shipped through Alibaba,
Yeah.
but
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you
I
a sticker on the
shit you not.
Cricut that you can put in front.
you can buy a quality. I'm surprised Glowforge
biggest-
would let this guy get boned so bad because, well, actually, no, I'm not, because they don't give about you. They're all about the money.
they dragged this poor dude along. They absolutely dragged him
Did
along.
you hear what he said? Usually it takes 7 or more exchanges to get a refund.
And that's bullshit. And you can air that. That's not customer
Run and
service.
tell that, homeboy.
Like that? Okay, but that right there, that to me is a gimmick. That's we're not going to refund you until you do 7 refund or swaps. It's like,
7
okay,
swaps.
if I'm doing 7 swaps, you're telling me your brand is a piece of...
Dude, that's trash. That's straight
Did you
trash.
hear the additional part of that? Is they only give you a swap out for a refurbished one. So if you bought a brand new machine and something was wrong, they'll swap it out, but it's a refurbished one. They don't give you another brand new one.
Yeah, that's...
They just go back into the broke pile and pick one.
Well, that's their business model, man. Is hurry up, buy it, and then we'll deal with all the shortcomings later.
It's the laser version of Cricut.
Well, okay, but Cricket's not bad, though.
No,
Or
Cricut's good.
Cricut.
And that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm
I
trying
was
to
like-
say is it's very easy for people to go to the Glowforge side because I did the same thing. Like, I remember this conversation with the wife. I'm like, hey, I'm over diodes. I need a CO2 laser. And at the time,
You got one for
like,
$600. I don't even want to hear it.
don't tell many people that. Anyway, I was like, hey, I need a CO2 laser because I want to do more with this. And she's like, well, which one do you want? And I'm like, well, Glowforge seems to be the place to go because you do research and you're like, CO2 laser, Glowforge
That's all you
pops
see.
up.
That's all you see, man. They pay to have their up front. That's why that's all you see. You know that on Google, if you do a Google search or whatever, that company pays Google to make them number 1 on the search results.
That's not necessarily true. If you say Sawdust Nation podcast, our podcast comes up.
We're the only one, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're the only, like, we're not, if you type in podcast, just generalized or woodworking podcast, we're not going to be the first one that comes
Sawdust
up.
Nation for me.
Anyway, if you have a Glowforge and you're listening to this, we're not bashing that you use one. Good for you if it works. And if it's making you money, that's great. We applaud what you're doing. But at the same time, though, if you need help with it and or something goes wrong with it, there's nothing I can do to help you. I'm sure Josh could give you a little advice, but good luck. We're sorry. We're sorry.
So I'm going to say this. I was very lucky to get the price point for the Glowforge I had. And on top of that, have it work for the most part. I used it and I generated business off of it. Was it frustrating? Did it take a long time? Absolutely. But it got me across the pond to essentially get a bigger laser. And, I even got my wife hooked on it so she can use the laser now too. So for me, it was reasonable learning curve. If we could prevent that from, happening to you, like it happened to Blue City Customs here, like Nick said, reach out, ask us questions. Yeah, we're going to talk about OMTech because that's what we know and we use and we love and we know the most about. But there are other people out there with different brands that are doing just as good stuff.
Like Thunder Laser? I heard good things about them.
The Thunder Chickens. Thunder Lasers are good ones. The Boss Laser out there. There's a few different brands.
They're expensive.
But just look past Glowforge and realize for that same price point, you can get a lot bigger cutting surface, more power. And honestly, once you pick up Lightburn, it might be your not only graving software, cutting software for your laser, it might become your designing software for other projects as well.
I use it all the time for CNC as well. So,
Hey, Nick,
Same.
real quick question for you. Speaking on this box, how much do you think a box from Uline would cost?
it depends.
For a Glowforge.
How's that?
I don't
that
know.
Glowforge?
I'd have to look it up, see what the dimensions are.
Right now. Do it right now.
Right now.
No, Jason asked. I'll just say this, Jason. It's probably cheaper.
Most likely, but you're gonna have to buy more than one. You can't just buy one. You have to buy like 10.
Yeah, but I know, but they can send them
You're
10
still probably
boxes
gonna pay less. You know what I mean? Oh, I gotta buy 10 at $11 a piece. I'm still paying $200 less than I paid for the Glowforge box. Thank you. That's a loaded, by the way. Sorry, Lang.
I feel bad for this guy.
Sorry to hear you're having trouble. Give us more money and we'll try and help you.
Well, the fact they took 33% away, then they charged him $600 for shipping in a box.
That's a Ponzi scheme.
It's painful, and it should have never happened. I hope that more people have better experiences with Glowforge than that. But from the people that I've talked to, it's more common than not. And that's why when you run into someone that's like, "Oh, Glowforge is awesome," it's almost a rarity. And it's like, good, man. I'm glad you're experiencing, a quality.
You obviously haven't been to the Glowforge convention. I'm just saying.
I will be going to the Lightburn convention.
Are you serious?
All I'm saying it.
You going to that? Where's that? In Vegas?
Illinois.
Oh, you're going to that? Okay.
Yeah, because he's moving there, you fool.
You got orders there?
It's going to Scott.
Where were you last episode?
I don't know, man. When are you coming here?
June. I'll be down there June to July.
Sweet.
End of July.
Sweet.
You better meet up with Ben. He wants to show you things.
I was going to say, if you stay for August,
I am.
We're going to have that woodworking convention in Austin as well.
I honestly can't do that. Anything in June, July, I'll be in tech school, so I could just do local stuff. I'll be meeting with Ben, hopefully Joey and a few others. And then in August is moving. I have to be in place by the 31st, and we're trying to get there before the 22nd so that my oldest can get into school and, start the first day of school like every other kid and not be late. So it's going to be a 3-month, basically sprint to get, settled in and stuff.
Hey, Nick, what dates were that again for the Austin thing?
It's the last weekend.
Cool, because I'll be there.
Are you going to that?
I'm gonna put leave in so I can come say hey. I'll come stay at your house if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. If
we can spoon,
we're gonna
and I'll use your towel.
We're gonna
too.
fork first anyway.
No, okay. So I'm not gonna lie, guys. One thing I will tell you, I did learn about Workbench Con is that I need to see you guys more. Because it helps. Honestly, like this video stuff's cool and everything. Phone calls are cool, so are messages. But seeing your goofy mugs just makes it that much easier to hang out and just stay connected. So I'm probably gonna go see Nick in Austin in August, and then when this knucklehead gets settled in Illinois, I will venture to Illinois. I've never said I'd go to Illinois for anything, but I'll go to Illinois for Josh.
It's really not that great.
Well, that's right. Didn't you just go up there with Jesse Ford?
Yeah, I went there to see Jesse Ford. I mean, I had fun with Jesse, but yeah, Illinois is really not that great. No offense.
None taken. But the good thing is I'm going to be 6 hours from Daniel, so I'll be able to check out the warehouse eventually and go down there and do stuff like that.
Mad.
So
kind of mad I can't go to that.
Yeah, me too, man.
I kind of wish he was doing it next month. Because then I could easily sell that, even if I am learning a whole new job. Because I got laterally promoted. It's weird. Yeah, but no. Sorry,
Ben's
Danny.
In 2 months we could do a 30-hour carve, as long as it's my face. Sounds like that.
But it seems like we'll have to talk about sandpaper and stuff next time around.
Yeah, because we just got a little too gritty. This episode
was chock full of fun stuff with the Glowforge. Sorry, Glowforge. You suck.
I wonder if they're going to try to take down our episode.
Good luck.
They could try.
They'll have to
$1 trillion.
They send us a
well, seriously though, if they try to take it down and be like, "Yeah, thank you for infringing on my my rights,"
my Second Amendment right? No, that's not Second Amendment's your
guns,
firearms.
That's guns, dork. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, I don't think they will because they probably don't even know who we are. But hopefully, whoever listens to us, do not get a damn Glowforge. Just get an OMTech or any of the other lasers out there that are not Glowforge because your money will be better placed in those other lasers.
I will tell you now, if you're going to get a Glowforge because of the ease of use, and you're kind of worried about the learning curve when it comes to a OMTech or a laser such as that, you have 3 people right here talking to you that are willing to basically walk you through all the steps you need to get laser engraving.
Mm-hmm.
We are absolutely there for you if you need it. And that's a service we provide just because we want to make sure that the makers out there can start making with their new laser and enjoy it as much as we have and start making business. And that goes with CNC and pretty much anything. And I'm going to kind of turn this back into, it's like the 3D carve I did. I had people reach out. They were giving me tips. Some of the tips and stuff I knew, and I appreciate them reaching out. I probably shouldn't have posted me messing around with 3D carving, but more of a serious approach. But I wanted to show that, you can have fun when you're unsure of something, do a test piece.
Okay, listen, if people are giving... I didn't read all the comments, Josh. But if people are giving you shit because you're messing around...
No.
I was about to be like...
They were giving me legitimate tips, how to ensure bit life. You can go deeper during your carves and stuff like that. But I mean, regardless, we're here for the makers. That's the point I'm trying to get at. I'm not trying to bring it back to that. We're there for the makers and the communities out there helping each other, and we just want to do the same. So don't be afraid to get something because of the learning curve. You have a lot of people willing to give you a hand. So I'm going to leave it on that, and we can go ahead and dip into our sponsor, starting off with Nick.
All right, so we want to thank our largest sponsor, Daniel, over at PWN CNC. So check him out for all those aftermarket CNC parts, such as the spindle kits and the dust boots, etc., etc. Use promo code SAWDUSTNATION981 if you're trying to get 10% off your order, and that's the entire order. So, give him a visit. Tell Daniel that we sent you. And next up, I want to thank Totalboat for their continued support. If you're looking for 10% off your epoxy order or whatever you're going to buy from their website, give us a message in our DMs on Instagram or shoot us an email and we'll get you that promo code. And lastly, I want to thank our affiliates, which would be OMTech. I think they've been mentioned a few times in this podcast, as well as makerstock.com. And Josh mentioned them as well. So with that being said, I'm going to kick it on over to Nap.
Yeah, folks, check it out. If you're listening to us on the Apple Podcasts, what is it, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, any of those places that catch a podcast, go and give us 5 stars. If you don't give us 5 stars, let us know why you didn't give us 5 stars. Because if you don't tell us what you want, we can't give you the content that you deserve. But if you do give us 5 stars, still give us that feedback because you might have a topic idea, a question, or any of those things that can help aid us in giving you more better content.
Mo better.
On that, Mo better.
Got that too, huh?
Yeah, Mo better. But if you want to get a hold of us, Josh, how do they get a hold of us?
Well, folks, it's pretty easy. If you have Instagram, go ahead and log on, slide into our DMs at SAWDUST Nation Podcast, and one of the 3 of us will answer you. You could talk about, topic ideas you want to hear in the podcast, what you're working on. It's simple. And if you want to reach us individually, you can go ahead and do that by reaching out to Nick at MPG Creations, Nap from Nap Snutty Works LLC, and myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking. Either way you reach out, well, hopefully we can help. And if you don't have Instagram or you want to send us a voice clip or you want to talk about a tool or a laser or basically your experience of woodworking, go ahead and reach out on our email at sawdustnationpodcast@gmail.com and we can go check it out and play it on the episode live like we did for Blue City Customs tonight. And then a huge thank you for our Patreons for sponsoring the podcast, as Nick already mentioned. But that's one way to go ahead and be part of the podcast experience is be a Patreon in the 3rd tier. That way you can go ahead and chat in the live chat on YouTube while we record and have the laughs and topic ideas and everything that goes along with it. So with that, let's go with final words, starting off with Nap.
Yeah, folks, so you caught me off guard. I was over here messaging Daniel his new CNC slogan. He probably will shoot me down, but it's actually pretty funny. But anyways, hey, keep taking care of each other, folks, because, after 2 weeks, it's been 2 weeks now. It's been 2 weeks, 1 week since Workbench Con. The folks there although I didn't get to go to many of the classes throughout my conversations with folks, it's definitely remotivated me to get back in the shop and enjoy myself in the shop. I've been able to knock out a lot more with that found motivation again. So I appreciate you all. I keep taking care of each other because you never know what you're going to do for someone else. Nick.
Oh, well, like always, take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, folks, Confucius says baseball is wrong. Man with 4 balls cannot walk. Josh.
Thank you for listening to the 142nd episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast. We didn't really get this gritty into the episode because we didn't hit on sandpaper, but we did go ahead and hit on some pretty interesting stuff. So wait till next time, and we're going to hit that sandpaper topic. But until then, go ahead and listen to us on the way to work, working out, in the shop, whatever you're doing. Tune us in so we can whisper in your ear. Try to get out there to make some sawdust. The Sawdust Nation Podcast out.
Hey, listen, I know we got off on a tangent about Glowforge, but that was so great. I feel so much better about lasers now.
Yeah, like I've been wanting to play that on here because we've had it for a little while, and it was just
we never found an opportune moment to play stuff. I'm glad that that was a solid soundbite. It just goes to show, you can get better things for your money.
Yeah, you just got to do more research, or just it's not even more research. Look past the first couple of Google searches.